Hi everyone, my name is Phil and welcome to Phil Does 3D. I'm a multimedia and 3D artist and I stream live on Twitch on Mondays and Tuesdays at 5 PM Pacific time in the United States. That's 10 AM if you're in Australia or 1 AM if you're in the UK. I hope you guys and girls had a good weekend and I hope you're all well and staying healthy. Remember guys, if you do miss the live streams, you can catch up at any time by clicking the videos tab on my Twitch channel or going to my YouTube channel. It's /PhilDoes3D. Remember too, if you do want to join the Phil Does 3D Discord server, thank you Hellforge, click the link Hellforge popped into Twitch chat, or go to the About Me section on my Twitch channel and look in the panels below. Look below in my panels, you'll see a blue graphic, you can click that. We're going to be working on a game called The House in the Hollow. We're working on the kitchen for that game at the moment. You can wishlist that now on Steam by clicking the link Hellforge popped into Twitch chat, or again going to the About Me section of my Twitch channel and looking in the panels to get a link to the Steam store page. And my website as well, if you want to find out more about me and who I am, you can go to phildoes3d and put a .com on the end of it. You guys and girls, all these messages in chat. Hang on, I've got to scroll back up to the top. Sniper Echo, evening to you as well. Morning to you, Hellforge, and Sniper Girl. You're all in the chat really early this morning. Or late for you, I don't know, wherever you are in the world. Sniper says, I have to use space now to get the name right. Talking about Sniper Girl. I'm just reading the chat here, guys. Sniper Girl says, processing some images for photogrammetry currently. Hope to process the same image set on the same settings when the new PC is built. See the improvement? Yes, I noticed you guys were talking about the new PC in the Discord server, the Phil Does 3D Discord. And screws. What's going on with screws? Motherboard screws. I mean, Smurf got none, but that was understandable because he bought the case from Reddit. But Sniper Girl, she bought a retail case and no screws. Well, what's happening with the screws? What's going on? And Smurf was talking about the imperial and the metric difference. Yeah, I agree, Smurfer. It's really annoying. Although I don't think Smurf is in the chat. And you're getting 32 gig of RAM, aren't you, Sniper Girl, in your new machine? So that should be helpful for the photogrammetry. Sniper Echo says to Hellforge, perhaps say hi to Phil, maybe give out to him for something to drop the dreaded ZBrush word and head off safe, in the knowledge that Phil will be talking about it all night. Sniper Echo says you probably won't miss and modelling. I'm not sure what you mean there. Sniper Girl, nice. Hellforge says as tempting as it would be, I'll save it for another time when the comic relief is needed. Like redeeming the silence on a Just Chat stream. Oh no! Android Lust, thank you for the resubscription. 39 months! You're absolutely awesome. Thank you for subbing to the channel, Android Lust. I do appreciate it, guys and girls, when you do sub to me, so thank you very much. And 39 months, wow. I've been streaming for too long. Sniper Wrecker says to Sniper Girl, nice, great way to practically benchmark. Sniper says, actually, I still didn't get all my points back. But what happened with the points? Sniper Girl says the Sniper Echo won't have a new video card, but the photogrammetry being more CPU based shouldn't matter too much. Well, that is very true. Most photogrammetry software is pretty CPU intensive. The fastest, we've talked about this before, reality capture uses the GPU a lot more than the other software like context capture or Agisoft Metashape or anything like that does. So GPU is important for reality capture, but the CPU is still really important for all of them anyway. So, and memory is really important too. I'm doing really well, Sniper Girl. Thanks for asking. Yes, no, I'm so tired, guys. I've been up till like I normally work till about 2 in the morning, but the last week since I was talking to you guys last week, I've been up until 4:30 in the morning working, and so I'm really tired. But apart from that, I'm good. Thanks for asking. I took some time off yesterday, actually. I went back into the botanical garden. Was it yesterday or the day before? I can't remember. All the days are blurred together. And I spent a couple of hours just wandering around in the botanical gardens because I like trees, and they have some beautiful big old trees in the botanical gardens. And I actually wanted to photograph the gate. They have this really 1850s wrought iron gate. So I photographed that because I want to turn that into a photogrammetry asset. I haven't transferred the photos over yet, but I'll do that at some stage when I get a bit more time. So it was nice. It was nice spending a couple of hours out in the sunshine. Well, actually it wasn't sunny. It was overcast because you guys know photogrammetry is best to be done when it's overcast. But it wasn't raining, so that's okay. Not like the last time I went, where I went when it was spitting like raining and I got a cold. So Sniper Girl says, totally fighting the urge to do the silence during the intro. I know you guys probably that watch me a lot probably think to yourself, oh God, here we go again. He's doing his intro. But it's for people that maybe are watching that haven't watched before. They want to know these things. Or remember too, all of these streams get uploaded to YouTube. So maybe somebody will watch one of the YouTube videos that hasn't watched one before and they need the spiel. But I agree. I mean, I've watched streamers and most streamers will give you their spiel at the beginning of the stream, and I always think to myself, oh man, get on with it. So I get it. I do get it. So I try and make it as short as I possibly can. Some streams go on and on and on and on. I don't list my Twitter. I don't list, I don't go into detail. I just give you the gist at the beginning and tell you if you want to find my social media, go to my website. Sniper Echo says, right, actually that reminds me, Mesh Room is no longer detecting any CUDA. Did you upgrade your graphics drivers or something, Sniper Echo? Maybe they need to do an upgrade on the program. Because I know that when NVIDIA update their drivers, they occasionally do an update on CUDA, so it could be a problem there. And that does suck, as Sniper Girl says. No, that would not be awesome, Sniper Echo, saying to Sniper Girl to just silence me during my intro. That would not be awesome at all. We see, you can do this, you can try and silence me during my intro, but I choose when I redeem that channel points from you guys, so I can just wait till I finish my intro before I do the silence. So you can't get me. Yes, Sniper Echo says, wait for it. Phil will throw me a slap in 5 minutes. Phil's going to throw you a slap right now, Sniper Echo. And that's for you too, Sniper Girl. Phil slap to both of you. Sniper Echo says, working on the game kitchen in the house. That's exactly what we're working on. We're working on the kitchen. We're nearly finished doing the assets for it. And then we're going to be jumping into the Unreal Engine and putting the kitchen together and lighting it and all that sort of stuff. Sniper Girl says, Android lost 39 months. Wow, yes, I know. 39 months. Is Android lost in the chat? I haven't caught up yet. I'm still reading the chat. I don't know if he's in the chat. 2 a.m. Hellforge says, oh wow, it's 2 a.m. where you, I know it's really early for you, or really late, whichever way you want to think about it. Sniper Echo says, Android Lust, I've been in the chat for 15 hours. No joke, patiently the sniper waits. Wow, I don't know whether to feel honoured or whether to feel like I'm being stalked. I don't know. 15 hours in the chat. I'm sure he's joking. Sniper Girl says, yeah, no freaking clue. Brand new case and everything. Instructions say to use screws provided, and yep, none came with it. You bought it from Amazon, didn't you, the case? Contact Amazon, tell them. They'll probably send you the screws out. Sniper Girl says, yeah, 32 gigabytes of sweet DDR RAM. Nice. Sniper Girl says, have 15 currently. You have 15 gigabytes currently. That's a strange number. Is that what you mean? Isitha, hey Isitha, it's good to see you. Sorry, it's taken me a while to catch up with the chat here. I'm just reading. I hope you're well, Isitha. I hope you had a good weekend. Sniper Girl says, we know that feeling. Hellforge says, I did not know this, but I also don't do photogrammetry. Isitha Says, I think I pissed off some gamers when I mentioned I purchased GeForce RTX 3070s and 3080s for mining crypto. Total 16 cards. Whoa, you're going to be in for some hate, dude. Wow. Man, don't say that out loud. No, people are not going to be happy. I mean, yeah, no, don't do that. Don't tell people. People that want them for gaming are not going to be happy with you. Android Lust is here. Hey, Android Lust, I hope you're well. I hope you had a good weekend. Says, Phil pretty much says he can't rest when he can rest when all the works. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I get into a zone when I start working, and before I know it, it's really early hours of the morning. So it's been a combination of that, and also when I get a problem, I can't sleep anyways because I'm tossing and turning in bed trying to work out what the problem could be and how I can fix it. So yeah, I'm one of those people that loses track of time easily when I'm working because I get into my zone, and I don't like a problem that I can't solve. So I've been doing a combination of things recently. It's been 3D work, but I've also been doing a lot of programming stuff. So wow, I tell you, programming. Sniper Girl says, it's not because of that. I just want to see your reaction one time. Stream literally just starts and bam, silence. Oh, okay. So it's not because you're sick of my little spiel at the beginning. It's just because you want to see the reaction. Oh dear. Mod slap. Sniper Girl gave me a mod slap. Oh man. I'll give you another Phil slap. How about that? Sniper Echo says about Sniper Girl, best sniper there is this side of the ridge. Sniper Girl says that's too much work. I literally just ordered screws. Well, you could order them, I guess, but if you bought it and they didn't come with it, then I would be complaining personally. Just to get more screws, because obviously they're hard to come by, so you want to have some extras just in case. You generally don't need them, but you know, once you put your motherboard in, then that's it. You won't touch the screws again. But I was quite lucky when I bought my cases. They actually, Fantecs are really good. They give you even a little box, like a little plastic box with the different slots in it that has all these screws that they give you for everything. For, you know, SSDs, for hard drives, for the motherboard, they give you extra standoffs. I mean, all that stuff. So, and because I have two Fantecs cases now, I have two of these little plastic boxes of screws, so I'm pretty covered that way. Sniper Girl says, yeah, 15 gig. It's a combo of an 8 gig stick and two 4 gigs, I think, and a 1 gig stick. You've got a mix of memory there. Yeah, just so, because it was odd when I saw it when you said 15, because normally, you know, memory you do in multiples of two, so yeah. 2048, 4096, you know, 8K, 16K, 32K, gig, sorry, K. Yeah, so it was odd. Remember too, though, when you start mixing different memory like that, you're not going to take advantage of dual channel memory, which a lot of modern computers now can use. Even computers going back, you know, 5-6 years ago, even maybe longer, probably longer actually. Yeah, if it's not all rated the same, like if you've got two sticks that aren't the same, you've got one 4 gig stick, say, and one gig stick, you're not going to get dual channel memory from those, and that can really improve performance quite a bit. Sniper Girl says, I wish. Sniper Girl says, my computer is super old and was built back when RAM was super expensive. Okay, yeah, look, I get it, because RAM used to be really expensive. You modern PC people now are spoiled. I remember when I built my very first computer, and I won't tell you how long ago that was, RAM was so expensive. I think I spent about $1,000 for, I think it was about 8 gigabytes of RAM back then. $1,000 for 8 gigabytes of RAM. Can you believe that? So think yourselves lucky now. RAM's much cheaper, although it is going up, unfortunately, at the moment. Sniper Girl says, I wasn't worried about that. My computer predates dual channel. Oh, okay. Can't wait to get the screws, I'm sure. It's nothing worse than having all the parts there and not being able to put it all together. Android Love says, I thought computers don't like it when memory is not a power of 2. They don't. Modern computers don't. That's why you shouldn't mix memory. You can. It won't do any damage, but you won't get the performance benefit if you don't match your RAM. Ford said back in the 70s, 1972 for your first computer build. That's not true. You're going to get the stink eye. That is just definitely not true. 1972. Give me a break. I don't think I was even born then. Alright, so we are going to continue working on an asset for the house, for the kitchen and the house in the hollow. We started working on the pot rack, which will be hanging above that bench we did last week. I'll just put some chains from here that attach to the ceiling. So we're going to be bringing this into Substance Painter so we can start texturing it up. Thank you, Hellforge. And if you do want to wishlist the game you see me working on here, click the link Hellforge popped into Twitch chat to take you to the Steam store page. You can wishlist it now on Steam. You can't buy it because it hasn't been released yet, because we're still working on it. But you can wishlist it. And when you wishlist something on Steam, for anyone that's not familiar with Steam, that just means that Steam will tell you when the game is actually released. They'll send you a message, or it'll come up in your Steam client. That sort of jazz. And it also lets you keep up to date with any news that we release on the game, because that generally in the Steam client at the very top, once you wishlist something or you buy it, you get updates. Anytime a developer makes an update or a news post, it gets shown at the very top of the Steam client. So it's a handy way to keep track of what you want maybe to play. You can always unwishlist it too, so don't think once you've wishlisted it, it's there forever. You can just unwishlist it if you want, but I don't suggest you do that. Okay, so what we've done here is I've got a low and a high poly version of this pot rack. And the reason I've done that is because I'm using photogrammetry here for the ironwork. Now, again, I did last year, I think it was it last year or the year before? I've done a series, it's on my YouTube channel anyway, and also under my videos, but I did a short series on photogrammetry, and we talked about the different bits of software that you can use and the advantages of one over another and all that sort of jazz. And I also did a video series on using photogrammetry to create something else. So you don't use photogrammetry, you can use photogrammetry to photograph something, turn it into a 3D model and use it as it is, okay? But I also talked about using photogrammetry to then remodel something completely unique and new, which is what I've actually done here. So the photogrammetry here of the ironwork was not from a pot rack. It was something completely different that I then took into Max here, and I've repurposed into a decoration for a pot rack. So yeah. So that's the reason we're doing a low to high bake here, because I want to get the detail in the high bake into the wrought iron here. So we're going to start by exporting out the low res version. I can't remember if we did it last week or not. We'll just do it again just in case. Pot rack. Looks like I did, but I'll just do it. Ironwork low res. And let's do the high res version. We did UV map it last week, I remember that. Ironwork H res. This is the high poly we're saving out, so it takes Max just a little bit longer. Now let's jump into Substance Painter and create a new project. And we're going to start by selecting the low res version. We'll do it. Look, I'm going to do it at 4K. It's not the engine will knock it back to 2K, but I may even knock it back to 1K once we bring it in. But just for now, while we're actually designing it up, we'll do it at 4K. Compute tangent space, good. Let's bake out our maps at 4K, and we're going to load up the high res version for the bake out. Now we do have vertex coloring. So normally I'd switch it here, but I know for some strange reason, look, I'll change it, but it appears that Substance Painter, when you're doing a bake app and you're actually loading up a high-res mesh, tries to find the vertex coloring from the high-res mesh and not the low-res, so it's probably not going to bake out our ID maps. We'll fix that up once we do the initial bake out though. Jotara! Hey Jotara, it's good to see you. I hope you're well. I hope you had a good weekend. I hope you're staying healthy as well. Morning to you. I hope the world's treating you as well. Treating you well as well, Tuatara. Tuatara says, I see we now have a bubble between New Zealand and Oz. Yes, we do. How about that? Isn't that exciting? Now Australians can travel to New Zealand and New Zealand can travel to Australia because we have no cases, no community cases. The only cases we have in this country are people that have come back. Like, you can't come to Australia for a holiday as a tourist. At the moment, well, unless you're from New Zealand. At the moment, all you can do is come back into the country if you're an Australian citizen wanting to come home. And when you come back, they put you into what they call hotel quarantine. So you have to go to a hotel, you have to be there and stay there locked in your room for 2 weeks. I think they let you out for exercise for an hour a day, but you can't leave the area of the hotel. So we have no community cases of human malware, but we do have cases that are in hotel quarantine. So they test them while they're in the quarantine, and as soon as they test negative, then they let them out after 2 weeks back home, wherever they live or whatever. But now, yeah, they've just opened up a travel bubble between New Zealand and Australia, so we can fly back and forth between the two countries now if we want. Because we're really close to each other anyway. Sorry, Sniper Girl. Sniper Girl says, I'd like to think I spent over 400 to 500 on RAM back in the day. 32 gig was 163 for 216 gig sticks. That's pretty good actually. 32 gigabytes, 163 bucks. Yeah, that's pretty good. But I'm doing well, Tuatara. I hope you are too. So actually, I wouldn't mind going to New Zealand now they've opened up the travel bubble, to be honest with you. New Zealand's a beautiful country. Sniper Girl says, my last PC build was like 4K. It was just after my second deployment in the Navy, which was ages ago. We'll end up spending half that by the time I get a video card. And it'll be way better than what my current PC is. Well, yeah, they only get faster, they don't get slower, thank God, PCs. Yeah, Vertex Color for ID, which you saw me set, but I can tell you when I do a bake out, it's not going to pick that up. For some reason now, when you have a high-res mesh loaded, it never used to be like this. It's in the more recent updates since Adobe took over. When you do a bake out and you have a high-res mesh loaded, it seems to try and find the ID map in the high-res mesh, not in the low. But we can fix that after the fact. It's very simple to do a rebake. And I'll show you that in a minute. I've shown you guys before anyway. Android Lust says, that was 4K for your current build, right? Tuatara says, the Sniper Girl, my first computer had 2 megabytes of RAM, onboard video, and a massive 40 megabyte hard drive, not a typo. A whole 40 megabytes, wow. I used to, when I was very young, and I first started getting into computer games, I used to have a Commodore Amiga. Yeah, I had a Commodore 64 and then I had a Commodore Amiga. And those things used to come on physical cassette tapes to load up a game. So you had like a cassette player that you put your cassette in and it would load the game that way. It was wild days of early computing. And the big floppy drives as well, you know, the 5 1/4, whatever they were called, those huge floppy drives. I mean, man. Android Last says parts really gotten cheaper. Tuatara says, oh, and it had a 20 megahertz CPU. Wow, 20 megahertz. Sniper Girl says to Android Last, no, my first PC build was about 4,000. Hellforge says, hang on, aren't you supposed to have the vertex color on the high poly? I put it on the low poly because it's easy. Oh, I generally put it on the low poly. They want you to have it on the high poly. If you put it on the high poly, then it will do a bake out automatically for you. But I don't work that way. Generally when I do vertex coloring, I put it on the low poly. So it's probably because a lot of the times I don't use a high poly mesh. I use the low as the high when I do a bake out. Because not every asset that I'm making requires a high poly mesh to be baked down. So. Andrew Dust says the Tuatara, bet you paid a lot for that PC too. Snappy Girl says the Tuatara, wow. Tuatara says there was a 3 meg upgrade and a fancy Motorola CPU, 30 megahertz. That was New Zealand $5,000. Wow. Snappy Girl says to Android Dust, back when the 965s came out back in the day, it was $1,000 CPU. Yeah. Tuatara says current got i9 64 gig RAM, 7 terabytes of storage, and a 3090. Nice. It's amazing when you look back at what computers used to be and what they are now. It's just wild to think about how much they've changed. Rob Shaw, hey Rob, it's good to see you, buddy. I hope you're well. Did you post something, Rob? Oh, that's right. You were talking about learning Max, weren't you, in the Discord, Rob? You need to learn Max? Yeah, as Euro suggested, going to 3D Studio Max's Autodesk's website, they have a lot of tutorials on Max. So if you just want to learn the basics of Max to get you started, that's the best place to go. You can also look at YouTube because there are thousands of YouTube videos. So just do a search on 3D Studio Max and whatever specific thing you want more information on, I'm sure you'll find a video on YouTube. The Max's interface doesn't change between versions very much. So even if you're finding a video on YouTube that's from like, I don't know, 2010, it's still going to be valid to learn to know because Max doesn't change. Which is one of the great things about Autodesk. I don't like it when the interfaces change too much. I'm looking at you, Adobe, and I'm looking at you, Substance Painter. But I hope you had a good weekend, Rob. Tuatara says that Amiga 1200 was my first beast. Yes, I had an Amiga 1200 as well. I had a Commodore 64 prior to that though. That's my first gaming computer, or yeah, it was a computer, Commodore. It was a Commodore 64. Actually, no. My first computer ever was what they called a Texas Instruments TI-99 4A. And after that, I got the Commodore 64, and after that, I got the Amiga 1200, and then I moved into proper PC gaming, like an adult. Back then, computer graphics cards weren't really built. PC graphics cards. This is before the days of the Voodoo graphics card. Weren't really built for gaming much. So that's why Commodore existed, because they were more a gaming-oriented sort of computer. And I wanted to play my games. Elfwood says that's so strange since I've always thought it should be on the high poly, but it makes sense if you're mostly working on low to mid poly, so you don't bake down from high. Yeah. Because generally, at least half of the assets that were made for the game don't require a high poly bake down. So we've generally I've always put my vertex colouring IDs on the low poly. Sniper says, to Tuatara, that's awesome. Hellford says, I guess that's the wonderful thing about 3D. You can do stuff in all kinds of ways and still end up with the same result. That's what I love about it too. Tuatara says, it's awesome. Gameplay is lovely. The render crunching power in Arnold is mind-boggling. Yep, I'm happy with my i9 as well. And I can tell the difference, you know. You guys know I have my streaming machine is my old main computer, which is an i7, I think, 8700K. My new computer is an i9 10900K, and I can feel the difference working between the two. The new one is much snappier. I didn't think I would, but it is much snappier, much more responsive. Maybe it's got something to do with that that meltdown Spectre thing that's enabled on the old processor that slows things down a little bit. But I haven't noticed any slowdowns on the new one. So. Hang on, let me catch up with the chat. Android Lust says, hey, ZBrush's interface didn't change. Unfortunately, you are correct, Android Lust. ZBrush's interface is just as doggone awful as it always has been. Euro says, ZX Spectrum 48K. Oh, the Spectrum. I remember the old Spectrum. Hey, Euro, good to see you. Halford says, I was curious about Max tutorials. Says, I was curious about what Max tutorials were like, and I saw were just the dude uninstalling Max and installing Blender. I'm sure you'll find plenty of tutorials on both Blender and Max on YouTube, and Autodesk website have a lot on Max itself, so. And Maya, if that's your thing, if that's what you're into, if you're into the Maya instead of the Max. Snappy Girl says to Tuatara, my PC that I'm building is the Ryzen 3900X, that's factory overclocked to 4.6 GHz. Main hard drive is 1TB Nano, will probably transfer my 8TB in my current PC to it, 32GB RAM, going to upgrade to 64. I wasn't able to get a video card yet. You and half of the world, Sniper Girl, can't get a video card. It's because of people doing all the crypto mining. Tuatara says to Android, ZBrush interface never changes. That's right. Euro says Ryzen 9 3900X got Ryzen on the brain. Ryzen on the brain. Yes, it's a Ryzen, AMD Ryzen CPU, and Ryzen is the UV mapping software. Snappy Girl says, yeah, no kidding. Ignore my typing tonight, Snappy Girl says. Rob says, yeah, I'm good. I was just trying to avoid bad tutorials. There's a couple of bad Maya channels, so I was trying to avoid the Max equivalent. Well, yeah, that's true, there are. But go to Autodesk website directly. They're the people that made the software, and they made the tutorials, and you can trust what they tell you. They're good tutorials. As Euro suggested, they're good too if you just want to get an overview of the interface of Max when you first start learning it. Go to Autodesk. They'll tell you the different bits and pieces that you can do in Max, and it's all laid out really nicely. So yeah, Autodesk website's the way to go when you first start learning any software that they make. Tuatara says, I pretty much only render now using my GPU. Yeah, well, you're the same as Legmog's in love now with GPU rendering. And remember I've said to you guys before, it will come to a time very soon where everything will be done now on the GPU pretty much and not the CPU, so particularly things like rendering. At the moment, GPU rendering, there are some things that still don't work on a GPU render. You still have to do a CPU render for them, but it's like they're 80% the way there, and eventually rendering on the GPU will be the way to go because it's much faster than the CPU. Which is why multi-core CPUs, even though they will have their uses and are useful, and you know, the one I bought because it has so many threads. It'll become less important in time because everything will move to GPU acceleration. Because it used to be video editing, CPU threads were important. Even that's now moving to the GPU. So a good GPU is the best investment you can make in your computer, and will be for the next few years, really, if you can buy one. Snappy Girl says to Tuatara, thanks, I'm excited. Honestly, I'm excited. Going to be a huge upgrade. Looking at using my old video card until I get a new one, which will be fine, Sniper Girl. You can use your old video card if you can't buy a new one. And it's nice to be, when you start working with a new computer, it does. Every time I upgrade, I love the upgrade. I love getting faster stuff. I love it when things open faster and render faster and play better if it's a game and all that sort of stuff. Tuatara says, I have a couple of Quadro P5000s at the office and the 3090 feels so much faster. Yeah, I love the 3090. I love all that VRAM on the 3090 too. Sniper Girl says, particularly if you're doing GPU rendering. Sniper Girl says to Tuatara, this is my first time going AMD for a CPU, so I'm anxious. No, you should be fine. I mean, one of my machines over there is an AMD, an older AMD, but AMD, and I've never had any problems with it. Yuri says, I vary my rendering every I vary my rendering. Everything in Mama said is GPU. Most things in Max are CPU because of all those cores. It takes no time. You guys know I use the ArchViz studio I work for. We use V-Ray, so I use V-Ray in Max to do renders. But even then, I'll use GPU rendering in V-Ray in Max if I can. Some scenes will require a CPU because, yeah, again, not everything you can render in a CPU you can do in the GPU renderer. But most 80% you can, and eventually it will be 100%. Particularly now that Nvidia and AMD are getting into real-time ray tracing in their graphics cards for games, so that will push it along relatively quickly. As Chiratara says to Sniper Girl, you'll be fine with AMD. They are very good. Helpwood says, on a more serious note though, does Maya have an active modifier stack like Blender and Max? I don't really know much about Maya, but a studio I'm interested in is applying to use it. Sniper Girl uses Maya. Sniper Girl says, heard they run hot, so I'm going to be liquid cooling it. Yep, I can recommend liquid cooling. I have a liquid cooler on the CPU and I love it. I am still a bit worried about it leaking, but that's, just me. I'm paranoid. So I have an all-in-one cooler. I'm not going to... Fiddling around with building your own cooling loops and stuff, that's more trouble than I want to deal with. But an all-in-one cooler is definitely convenient and works really well. It's silent as well, which is what I really love. But all modern CPUs pretty much run hot nowadays. Android Lost says to Hellforge, no, not like Blenders and Maxes. Yeah, I didn't think that Maya had a stack, a modifier stack. That's one of the things I do love about Max. Euro says, Blender stole the modifier stack from Max thieves. They did, I agree. Euro uses Max like I do as well. Chiotara says, nice thing about ZBrush is there's nothing nice about ZBrush, is you can fully customize the interface once you get a handle on how to use it. Well, yeah, look, I've customized the interface and I still hate it, okay? That's the excuse that ZBrush users use all the time when people bitch about the interface. Oh, you can customize it. Well, yeah, you can put shortcuts to things that you use regularly and customize it that way, but that doesn't hide the fact that it's a terrible interface. It looks awful. They nest things and they put nests and nests and nests for menus, and it's awful. It's just awful. And the whole... Oh, look, don't get me started. We're not going down that rabbit hole. I'll never get any work done. Euro says, my 3900X beats my 1070. Well, that's fair enough. It would. Android Love says to Chotara, correct. In my opinion, its stock user interface isn't usable. Euro says, mind you, I have a lot of RAM, so that helps a bunch too. That's what I love about the 3090, because it has so much VRAM. It's got 24 gig of VRAM on it. Chotara says to Android Lust, I think it's the way you scare away noobs. Only RAM I have is the ramen in my pantry. Sniper Echo says, anybody here use Redshift for rendering? I don't personally, but I've heard good things. Noodle power, Euro says. Oh man, if only we could run our PCs on noodles. Noodles. I do love a nice hot cup of noodles. A bowl of noodles. Yum. The staple of the student, for sure. Too. I remember eating nothing but noodles when I was a student, a poor student. Not that I'm rich now by any means, but I eat other things apart from noodles. But I still have noodles in the cupboard because they're good on a cold day to have to heat up and eat quickly, warm you up. Euro says, does see General on Discord. Euro says, Sniper Echo. Edo does see General on Discord. Android Lust says to Tuatara, remember when I first used ZBrush? It took me a while to figure out how to even save something. I know, and I used to, when I first started using ZBrush, it was the 2.5D viewport thing where you, unless you go to edit your model, once you pull your model into the viewport, if you don't hit edit and you try and move your model or work on it, then you just put another version, because it's that 2.5D viewport thing that they put in. I don't know why they did that. So it's not like a normal 3D program. It's weird. ZBrush's interface is weird. and I've still been caught by that, where I'll pull my model in because I'm used to working in a normal 3D program, and then I'll go to manipulate it in some way, and then I'll just drop another version of the model in this 2.5D viewport because I forgot to hit the edit button up at the top. I hate that. I hate it. Do away with that 2.5D thing. It's awful. That would go a long way to improving ZBrush. Android Lust, Chotara says, the Sniper Girl, my system's liquid cooled too, except the 3090. Euro says, same, just upgraded to a 360mm because I could. I use a 360mm too. I love that three fan action going on the radiator. And it cools the CPU really well. I went with a 360 rad because I knew that the Intel i9s run really warm, so they chew through the power as well. Tuatara says, I hear you, Phil. Andrew Love says, Phil and his hatred for ZBrush's user interface. I know. It doesn't take much to get me started. Another girl says, another ZBrush rant. It's a silence. Noodles Tuatara says, Euro says, UX UI conversations always snowball. They do. And you're always going to get people that are, fanboys about ZBrush and will complain that ZBrush's interface is wonderful. So, fair enough. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, even if they're wrong. Andrew Luss says, Noodles is the bomb regardless of how much money you have. I agree, it is. That's why I've still got them in my cupboard. I eat them all the time. Noodles and pasta. I love noodles and pasta. I eat lots of pasta. There's the Discord link as well if you want to become a Phildo and join the Phildoes 3D Discord server, because I love looking at the work you guys do, because you guys see I never do any work here. So post an image in the gallery if you want to show it, or if you want me to show it on the stream. If you don't want me to show it on the stream, just when you post the image say please don't show it. I won't. If you don't want to, or message me on Discord saying please don't show it, I won't show it. So. Tuatara says 2.5D for ZBrush is because it wasn't initially made as a 3D program, it was an illustration program. Yeah, I get that, but now it's pretty much used in 3D. So get rid of that 2.5D interface because it's bloody awful. Come on, Pixel Logic. It's 2021 already. Get rid of that rubbish. Or make it an option where you can turn it off at least. If you want to keep it in the software, just give us an option to turn it off. Can't be that hard. Yura says, I think ZBrush's performance would tank a full 3D viewport. The amount of polygons that it throws around in there. Look, I use Max. Max has a fully 3D viewport. I can throw around tens of millions of polygons without an issue. So if Max can do it, I'm sure Pixel Logic and ZBrush can do it. Tuatara says, ZBrush fanboy. Sniper says, noodles, the food. Yuri says, noodles and pasta are the same at the same. No, not at the same time. Come on, I'm not a greedy little pig. No, I'll either eat noodles or I'll eat pasta. I love pasta as well. Sniper says, steady on. Healthwood says, the people who say ZBrush's interface is great are the same people who enjoy manual UV unwrapping. This is true. I think you're right. Yuri says, all those carbs need to run like Forrest Gump to burn them off. Yeah, well, I've told you guys, I've started doing fast walking every second day. I go for about an hour fast walking. So yeah, I burn my carbs off that way. I used to be a big jogger. I don't do jogging anymore, but so I don't think it's really good for your bones. Personally, I think it does damage to your bones and your legs. But so now it's fast walking. So not normal walking, but fast walking. Euro says, I enjoy UV unwrapping. Yeah, you're weird. Alford says you're crazy. Euro says, yeah, but ZBrush has to render 1,000 nested buttons at the same time. Tuatara says, I've easily run 140 million on ZBrush. That's some model if you're doing 140 million polys. Sniper Girl says, for ZBrush rant, what? Oh no, she silenced me. Alright. I have a silence, so I'm going to have to be silent for 5 minutes. Starting now. And I can breathe again. What are you talking about, Sniper Echo? Of course I've got music playing. You're such a troll. You are such a troll. Honestly. No music playing. Give me a break. I can see it playing. I'm glad you guys didn't troll with him. You guys know how hard how hard it is for me not to speak for 5 minutes. I should remove that as a reward you guys can use. I find it so hard not to be able to talk for 5 minutes. Abigail says it's so weird, Phil, not hearing Phil talk at all. I know. You're so used to hearing my motor mouth go, constantly that when it's not going, it seems strange. Points for effort, as Hellforge says to Sniper Echo. You haven't leveled up your team communication skill high enough for this to work. Andrew Lost says it's pot rack day for Phil, isn't it? It is. We're doing the pot rack. And whose fault is it that you can't hear me talk, as Hellforge says to Sniper Girl? That's exactly right, it's her fault. Sniper Girl says I did warn him. One more ZBrush rant, literally 2 minutes later. I'm not going to mention it. I'm not going to mention the Z word. Sniper says his expressions are filling in the silence. Euro says till Phil can see sound. What? Till Phil can see sound. Sniper says throw me under the bus, you guys did. Hellboy says I'll set the point a lot higher. I still didn't, that's true. I still didn't get my 120,000 points back. Sniper Echo says only left with 22,000 now. What did you spend 120,000 points on, Sniper Echo? Explain. Explain. You've still got 22,000, so what are you complaining about anyway? But tell me. Yura says, I have 45,000. I'd lend you some, but I'm saving them. Android Love says, going to have 100,000 soon. Wow. Alfred says, I got 58.6 thousand and I don't know what to do with them. Yeah, I don't understand why Twitch give out so many points. It seems a bit high to me. But anyway, maybe I should up the point cost. Android Love says, going to redeem a lot of silences with it. Oh man, you keep me silent for half the year. Sniper Echo says, I was saving to get to 200,000 for the in real life cooking stream. You're saving for something that doesn't exist, dude. Sniper says, I didn't spend them, Phil. They disappeared on me. Oh, I only have spent 60,000 or so. Oh, so Twitch had a Twitch and your points disappeared. That's probably what happened, hey? That's no good. Oh, Hellforge says subs get more points. There you go. I didn't even know that. So then now what I've done here is I've brought in the texture map for the wrought iron, and I've done that because I want to match up the color on these decorative pieces here, which when I designed them, I thought to myself, why did I make them that shape? But anyway, once they're textured up, it won't be quite so noticeable. So let's do that now. So we're going to move into the metal part. And let's go to our smart materials. Pardon me. Actually, let's go to our materials first. We'll put an underlying material down. So let's just make these bigger so it's easy for Phil to see. With his old eyes, I'll get in there before Sniper Girl mentions it. Sniper says to Hellforge, I've been here since Twitch went to colour broadcasting. Phil used to be all greyed out. That's right. Sniper was here for the black and white days. So I'm just looking for a metal I can put as a base metal. So that's why I'm not using a smart material for this. I'm just going with a regular material for the base. So I can do any color adjustments and stuff. It makes color adjusting easier because smart materials are generally nested, multi-nested layered materials. And it takes forever to go through them to pick out to change a color or something. We will use a smart material probably on top at the very end. I'm going to have a look at this one. Oh, before we do that, I just have to do another bake out because we need those ID maps. Because if you look here, you see that my ID maps are just all grey. So what I'm going to do with the ID map is I'm going to deselect everything apart from the ID. I'm going to remove the high poly mesh. And we're at vertex color. And we're just going to bake that out. So now we have our color IDs like we should. Hellforge says they must have missed to add color to his hair. It's still grey. What? Grey? My hair is not grey. I have some grey in it, but it's not all grey. Yogi, is this pick on Phil day? Slap inbound. You are correct. A slap is inbound. Oh no, that's the wrong button. A slap is inbound. How rude! Wow. Pick on Phil day today, obviously. Okay, let's throw this material in. I don't think this is the one I want. No, it's not. Let's find something else. Let's see what we can do with this material. If we can do anything much with it. Yeah, we have a rust color here. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to turn off the hide information. I don't know why when people make materials, I don't know why they insist on really turning up hide information on them. Well, I'll turn it on because I want to scale it up. And I'm going to I'll leave the height turned on, but I'm going to pull back on the height a little bit. So instead of turning it off completely, I'm just going to knock it back because we want some height on the rust, but we don't want as much as it came with by default. Now I'm going to remove this blank layer at the bottom to begin with. I'm going to assign this underlying material to the entire frame of the mesh of the rack. Even though we have material IDs, we'll come back in and we'll start doing throwing smart materials on top of this underlying layer now, I think. So let's start with the bars here. Let's jump into our smart materials. And I think they might look good gold, even though Smurf isn't here. I know how much he loves gold, and I actually think gold bars here would look cool. So we're going to go and find a nice gold material. Because I switched to large, the program needs to regenerate before I can scroll. Very annoying. I wish it could cache these thumbnails, Substance Painter. It seems to always want to redraw them. Even though it says it's caching them, it doesn't seem to do that. It's very, very annoying. I'm just impatient. Impatient. Come on. Where's the gold that I want? I'm going to have a look at this one. This is a smart material I actually created for one of the books in the game. Because a lot of the books in the game are actually have metal surrounding them. So I think we're going to mask with color selection to there. That's not too bad. I just wanted to bring up some gold. I wanted it to look like it had been used and abused. I mean, these hooks on a metal railing like this, they're going to knock off a lot of the gold anyway, just by people taking them on and off and all that sort of jazz. So I think that should be cool. Don't want to do too much with that. The actual hooks themselves, I think I want them to be gold too, but let's just see if we can find a different gold. Okay, I have these two golds here. Let's have a look at this one. Oh, this might have been one of the ones I really shouldn't be using. I must remember to do a save. Some of these materials are really, again, these are smart materials, so that they have, some of them have massive amounts of sub-levels, and they can be quite heavy sometimes on the program. No, I actually don't like that gold anyway, so I'm going to undo it. I'm going to do a save. Save before we do anything else. I should know. I'm going to call it pot rack. And I'm going to have some coffee. Save and coffee, yes. Good suggestion, Hellforge. Hellforge says, wouldn't it be brass or copper? Are you talking about the hooks or are you talking about the bars? The bars could be like a gold painted metal. The hooks could be brass or copper though. Although copper is quite a soft metal. I'm not sure if they'd use copper. Maybe copper plated, maybe. Yeah, they wouldn't be gold because they wouldn't hold the weight. But yeah. Yuri says copper would be too soft of a metal. Yep. Andrew Doss says you skipped Hellforge's other messages. Sorry. What other messages? Let me see here. Snappy Girl says I'm on a schedule for my leave of absence next month. I have rent paid up until all the way up through June. Man, you're organised and good. The rest of the money I get from work is for food for the month, savings for month plus savings for the leave of absence. You are such an organised girl, Sniper Girl. Wow, I'm impressed. paid up your rent through to June and you've budgeted yourself for your savings and food for the month? Cool. Alford says only a couple of more mods that need a slap, and then we've all gotten one today. Alford says, Phil, do you have some good resources for learning basic indoor environment lighting? I've started grey boxing out a scene, and even though I'm far from getting to the lighting stage, I'm completely clueless to how and why, to the hows and whys. Not off the top of my head. So it's indoor lighting. You guys have seen me do indoor lighting in the engine before, though. Yeah, you've been in the stream, and I've done it at Hellforge. I think weren't you there when we did the sitting room with the fireplace, where I lit the room while I was streaming live for you guys. It's. I don't have any tutorials, but I know that there'll be some on YouTube. I mean, I've come across people talking about it before. So I'm sure if you search UE4 lighting tutorial on YouTube, you'll find something. Or you can watch me, because we're going to be doing lighting again when we jump into the kitchen to actually put the kitchen together in the engine. So I'll be doing it myself on stream soon. Alford says, the one time I ask a serious question, he says, yeah, I've seen you do a few rooms on stream. What are you trying to do then? I thought you were talking about when you say indoor environment lighting. I'm just not sure. Do you mean rooms? I'm assuming if it's indoor, it's got to be like rooms or caves or something. I'm just trying to work out what exactly you're trying to light. You don't really want to do the lighting while you're still grey boxing, though. You can, but I think it's easier and better to do it once you actually textured up. So basically the way I work is, you've seen me, I make the model, I texture the model, then I bring it into the engine and I put the room together. And then I do the lighting. The lighting is generally the very last stage that I do. So I do all the texturing and positioning and all that jazz first. That's the way I like to work. Not everyone works that way. Again, 3D, do it. There are so many ways to get the same job done. Yeah, I generally wouldn't light with a grey box. I'd wait till I have textures in, because lighting is such a visual thing when you're doing it in the engine, and to make it look right, it's a real visual thing, and I find it better if the objects are textured up, so you can get a better idea of what the actual thing is going to look like. So yeah, my suggestion is don't do lighting until you've done texturing. You'll get a better result, I think, in the end. But that's just my opinion. Sniper Girl says, looking at going up to Chicago for photogrammetry, there's a couple of abandoned buildings. Oh, nice. That I would want to scan trash and stuff in, so I have to plan ahead for that. Is my phone going off? I tell you, they wait till I stream. I'm going to ignore them. Oh, that sounds really cool. Scanning trash and stuff, some abandoned buildings. We don't really have any abandoned buildings around where I live, unfortunately. I'd have to travel quite a distance to find some. But photographing that sort of stuff's always really cool. I love destruction. Photographing destruction. I should clarify. I don't love destruction, but doing photogrammetry of destruction is always really cool. Hellford says, I have a vehicle hangar, garage thingy that I'm doing in Unreal. Lighting is something I'll do last after everything else is done. Good, like you suggested. I figured I'd just have to ask you about it now, if you had some good introduction resources. Yeah, look, I don't, but I have seen quite a few on YouTube that I like. Yeah, when I do searches for UE4 stuff, they always pop up. Look for things like cinematic. So anyone doing a tutorial series on cinematics in Unreal, they generally will be talking about lighting, because lighting is a really important part of cinematic. You're probably going to have to filter out a lot of rubbish, but like, people are going to either not know what they're talking about, or they'll be like me where they talk and don't do anything to show you. Yeah, but that'd be your best bet, I think. Either that or go to Unreal's website, although they don't really talk in detail about lighting and stuff. They give you a general overview on Epic's website, I should say, not Unreal's website. Like, they have tutorials on Epic's website, but they're just overviews of different parts of the engine, really. Usually YouTube is probably the best place, and you'll have to filter through a lot of rubbish. But remember, jump on the Discord if you get stuck while you're doing your lighting stage, and ask questions, and we'll give you a hand that way. That goes for anyone, actually, if they have any questions while they're doing 3D, and just jump on the Discord server. It's the whole reason I created it, was to have a place for you guys to show off your images, and also if you have questions. And a place for you to hang out and talk, of course. Thank you, Hellforge. Yes, there is a link to the Discord server, so if you want to join the Phildo's 3D Discord, become a Phildo. I didn't pick that name, Twitch picked it for me. That's the abbreviation for my channel. You can join the Phildo's 3D Discord. Sniper Girl says, Chicago is about 135 miles. Well, that's quite a distance from me north. So it's not super close. Just something that I'm looking at doing during my leave and plan ahead for. Well, that sounds like a great way to use part of your leave is to go and do that. I think that sounds like fun to me. From what I've heard, Chicago actually has some really nice old buildings as well. So, oh, cool. Don't think too if you post on the Discord server I won't see, because Sniper Girl just posted an image in the Discord server in the general chat, because I have the Discord and the Twitch chat open at the same time. So remember too, unless you're a sub to my channel, don't post links in Twitch chat, because you'll get timed out by Nightbot or by one of the mods. But everyone can post links in the Discord. So, and she's just posted an image of one of the places she wants to do scanning on in Chicago. I'm just going to open it up here in the main browser. That's my website again, by the way, phildoes3d.com. There's links to all of my social media at the bottom here, which you can't see now because the banner's popped up. But there's links to my ArtStation, YouTube, Twitter, all that sort of stuff. So this is one of the abandoned buildings that she wants to photograph. So it's like an abandoned warehouse by the look of it. And the old abandoned buildings here in the background. You should be able to get some really nice textures from this as well. Not just, remember too, when you're doing your photogrammetry, do take your photos for your photogrammetry, but also I would take just normal photographs for textures of things like the wall here, and maybe the cement and this part of the wall here, and maybe get a close-up on some of the rusted metal here, and just texture shots. So do your photogrammetry shots and just take some texture shots as well, because you guys know I have a library, a texture library that I use. So anytime I'm out and about and I have my camera, I always have my phone on me, and my phone has a camera in it. I'll take just shots that I can use for textures, because you never know when they might come in handy for a project you're working on. That's just my suggestion. Helpwood says, Helpwood says, yeah, I'll post some stuff here when I get to that stage. Cool. How's your gun going too, by the way, Helpwood? Sniper Girl's linked to a Reddit of abandoned buildings, safe for work. It's called abandoned porn, but yeah, I think I've actually come across that on Reddit before myself. I'm pretty sure I have. Hellforge just popped a Reddit thread as well called Urban Hell. I love looking at all of these pictures of abandoned buildings. I don't know, maybe it's just me because I'm really weird, but I love looking at them, which is why I know about a couple of these Reddit ones already. Yeah, yeah. So, because I just find it intriguing looking at buildings that people have obviously spent a lot of money on and a lot of time on building that are just abandoned. It's just, yeah, it's sad, really, that so much manpower, so many resources, materials, all that sort of stuff have gone into making these things, that just then get abandoned, completely abandoned. So yeah, I love looking at all this sort of stuff as well. So I find it really interesting. Interesting and really sad. I mean, look at that. Maybe that one's not abandoned. Oh, maybe it is, I don't know. Yeah, it's sad. Really sad when you see beautiful old buildings that have just been left to rot, basically. You will? Cool. Yeah, make sure you take texture photos as well. Sniper Girl says, going to bring 3 batteries on my camera, only planning on being in Chicago for a day, so will be limited in the number of things I can scan. Take your phone with you as well. Just for texture shots if you don't want to use your camera battery because you want to save that for photogrammetry. Euros, because you've got a Samsung phone, I think, so your camera in it should be pretty decent. Euro says, infrastructure porn on Reddit is going as well. Is good as well. Helpwood says, I'm stuck on material for 3 weapons now. I'm just frustrated that I can't figure out how to do it. I'm stuck on material for 3 weapons now. What are you stuck on, Helpwood? Sniper Girl says, wow, love abandoned buildings as well. Yeah, I do too. I don't know why. Yeah, I love looking at abandoned buildings. It's safe for work. Yeah, I won't open up all of them, but I love looking at all that stuff too. I've really got to get this pop rack done before I finish the stream today. I must have it done. Okay, so we're looking at something for the hooks. Let's have a look at... I did do a save, didn't I? Let's do another one to make sure. Because I think these are the materials that have a tendency to crash Substance Painter. They're really, really heavy, smart materials. But I do want to have a look at this one. Let's see how we go. We did save it, so it's alright. I really should probably remove them from the shelf because they do tend to crash out Substance Painter. Which I think it's probably going to do now. That's okay. We can just reload Substance and reload the project. I'll give it a little while though, because it could be it could be thinking about it. You never know. It's a shame because they really are nice, smart materials. They just Substance Painter just doesn't like them though. Again, they're not mine. Substance says not responding. I have a feeling you can't see it, but I think it's crashed the program. That's okay. I'm just going to open up the task manager and I'm going to kill Substance Painter. I really don't think it's going to come good. And we'll reopen it. Sniper Girl says, of course we'll have my phone as well. No way in hell would I go to Chicago without one, particularly if you're going to some area with abandoned, deserted buildings. You don't want to be... and you be careful when you're going around there as well, okay? Please, be careful. I mean, you don't know who could be around. So I'm not... I just want you to be careful, that's all. If you're going to be in an area where where you're isolated. That's what I'm trying to say. So make sure you do have your phone. I'm sure you would. She says, no way in hell I go to Chicago without one. Helpwood says, I can't get the material to look right on the sawed-off shotgun. The M1911 pistol and a sniper rifle that I don't recall what it's actually called. I keep side by side with various reference pics and I just can't figure out how to make the materials look good. So what about the material don't you think looks good that you're trying to do? Like you're trying to make a material and you don't like it, so what about it don't you like? Is it the color? Is it the roughness, the specular, I'm just trying to narrow down what you're having an issue with in the material. Sniper Girl says, I lived in Chicago when I was a student, seen the reminiscence of a drive-by, and it literally happened like 30 minutes from where I was. From when I was there. A couple of my friends were on a subway that got shot into, and that was downtown. Is it still that bad in Chicago? I thought things had improved. Sniper Girl says, so yeah, gotta have my phone on me. Look, I know Chicago always had a reputation, I thought, for being like that, but I thought they cleaned a lot of that up. Obviously I'm wrong. Android Lost says, I guess that's why one day in Chicago is enough. Sniper Girl says to Android Lost, that mostly comes down to money. Would do too, wouldn't want to live there again. But I do know that they have some lovely old buildings as well in Chicago, so. Like in the city and stuff. Okay, so we want to go to smart materials. I'm looking for a smart material for the hooks. I've just got to wait for substance to regenerate them for me. And we've got to make sure we avoid those smart materials. I really should remove them, I think. So I don't accidentally try and use them. Like, which I said is a shame because they are really nice materials. Let's have a look at this one. It's the hooks I'm looking at here. It's applying the material to everything, but it's really only the hooks that I'm looking to texture up just at this minute. Nah, it's alright. I won't remove it, but I'll hide it and we'll see if we can't find something maybe a bit more interesting. I have one that I created. Let's have a look at that. Can't actually remember what I created this one for in the engine in the game. Yeah, I actually don't mind mine. Mine's a little better, so I'm going to remove the other one that we just added. We're going to mask this one with color selection to the hooks. Android Lost says, as far as I know, Chicago is always like that. That's unfortunate. I thought they cleaned it up a lot, but obviously not. Hellford says, I don't really know how to explain it. It just doesn't look right when compared to the reference pictures, and I don't know what to do in Painter to make it look right. I can model well enough, but I struggle with materials. You see me working with materials here quite often here in Substance Painter. So it should give you a good idea. Like, my tips for working with materials in Substance Painter. Layers. Put lots of materials on top of each other and play with the layer, play with the smart masks. They're really helpful in getting a good, interesting mix of creating an interesting looking material. Duplicate, if you're working with a particular material, duplicate it and change the color on it a little bit, make one version a bit darker than the other, and then use a smart mask to mix the two together, and that'll give you nice variation. You won't have a flat looking color. And the other tip is to actually play with the mixing mode here, like you have in Photoshop, because you can get some really interesting results that way, unexpected interesting results. And you have full control over the mixing here anyway, so if something looks good but it's too strong, then you knock it back a bit here. So yeah, they're my suggestions. Just work with a lot of material layers. Use a lot of smart masks. Make sure you're going to have to make sure you bake out if you're using a smart mask, because smart masks work on bake outs. And play with the blending modes here as well. Hellforge says, Rob says to Hellforge, is it the bluing that you are having a problem with? What's bluing? Hellforge says, at this point it's probably everything apart from the height map that's an issue. Across all weapons. Hellforge says, Phil, I've never seen you model anything. It's always material and engine, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I don't tend to do a lot of modeling on live. If I'm modeling stuff, I model it off stream. But I've explained to you guys, I have modeled live on stream. You guys have seen me. You know when I did the Temple of the Winds and the Gothic, the Baroque Terrace, I modeled those live on stream. And then we textured them up and in Painter, and then we actually did beauty renders in Max using V-Ray. No. I think we used Eon View when we did the beauty renders, but yeah, I have modeled live on stream before. With the game stuff though, because we have a deadline and I'm getting pushed for time, I try and do a lot of the modeling off stream, and so the model is ready to go for me to show you guys when I texture it up, and then I think that's more interesting for a stream. People watching Twitch streamers, the visual is more interesting if you're doing the texturing, and I also show you when we do set the room up in the engine and do the lighting. I think that visually is more interesting for people that are watching than watching me sit here and model up something. So I don't tend to do a lot of modeling work on stream live. I have it modeled and ready to go so that when I'm streaming we're doing the texturing, because I think it's more interesting for people to see. That's my personal opinion. I'm sure there are plenty of people on Twitch that like to watch people model as well, but I don't tend to do it because I'm pushed for time mainly. But I have done it on stream live before. Sniper says, been here 11 years, not sure I remember anything. That is incorrect, and I can prove it. You guys go to my YouTube channel or look at my previous Twitch streams from a couple of years ago. You saw me modeling the Baroque Terrace and parts of the Temple of the Winds. I think I did all of the Baroque Terrace live though, apart from the stuff that was photogrammetry and that, which obviously I didn't model because it was photogrammetry. Everything else you saw me modeling live on stream. So don't you come at that with me, people. Euro says it's called Parkerization. Hellforge says math checks out. Sniper says slap 2. Wait for it. And there you go. So that's for you, Sniper Echo. That is untrue. You have seen me modeling live on stream. Euro's posted an image to a handgun here in the Discord server, I see. Where he talks about parkerizing. Parkerizing is a method of protecting a steel surface from corrosion and increasing its resistance to wear through the application of a chemical phosphate conversion coating. Sniper says 3 slaps and I'm out. Sniper Girl says, wow, looking at Airbnb to see prices in Chicago, I might be able to do 2 nights up there. Hellforge says, Phil, I'm honestly really cool to see your material work, and I've learned a lot from watching the way you work, or the way you do it. The wood on the Thompson SMG that I have on ArtStation only looks that good because of seeing your material. No, it looks that good because of your work, not because of anything I've done. That's completely your work, and you should be proud of what you've done. Because even if you follow sort of something that you've seen me do, it's you're the one that's done the mixing and the work and all that sort of jazz. So it's completely down to you and your skill, Hellforge. Nothing to do with me. You've done the work and you've created the model and textured it. So it's all down to you, and you should be proud of the work you've done. Andrew Lott says, never heard of the terms bluing, no, or parkerizing. I haven't either. So you're not the only one, Andrew Lott, before. You learn something new every day. But then I'm not a big gun nut either. You guys know that. I don't think I've ever modeled a gun in my life. How about that? I've done cars, because I worked on the Mad Max game, so I had to do cars for that. Some cars, not all of them. But I've never done a gun. So there you go. Phil's never worked on a gun. Sniper Girl says, originally thought if I did 2 nights it would be in a place where I'd run the risk of being shot at. Oh no. Well, don't do 2 nights if you're going to have to stay somewhere where they're going to shoot you. That's not good. Ure says it's all treatment to preserve and harden things without making them brittle. Cool. Okay, now let's see. Let's go back to our smart materials, and we want something for the rivets. What do I want for the rivets? Let's have a look at this metal rusty. And we're going to mask with color selection to the rivet. Okay. Let's also look at the aged and dusty. Actually, aged. Yeah, let's have a look at that. I just want to see what it looks like on the model. This is something I would like generally add to at the very end. Just have a look at this. It's in the sub layer. I'm just noticing a bit of a visual. It's in this layer here. I don't like, if you'll notice in this layer, I'm just going to select it so I know which layer I'm working with. You can see here, you guys can hopefully see that there's like a square that's actually in the actual texture itself. It's probably something to do with, yeah, it's in the mask, in the fill mask. It's been set up that way so that you can actually bring in your own texture. So let's have a look at that. Let's see if we can't bring in a material that might be interesting to throw into that sub node, because you never know what you'll get. So maybe if we go with, what do we got? We have a forged iron. Let's have a look at that one. No, I'm going to undo that. No. Trying to work out why that fill layer is actually doing that, because there isn't anything on it that should be doing it. Very odd. But hang on. Yeah, it's probably one of these. Not that one. But it's in that layer. Just got to remove the fill node there. Fill node there. It was, yeah. Something was wrong with the fill in it. So what we can do, I was initially only going to be adding that to the rivet, but I think what I might do is do a mix. So I really should be naming these. I might do that before I get completely confused. So this one is the, going to turn that layer at the top off so we can see what's going on. This one are the bars, so we're going to call this one hot rack bars. And this one are the hooks, so we'll call this hot rack hooks. And this one are the rivets. Hot rack rivets. And we can turn the dirty layer back on again, which is being added to everything, but I don't want that, so I'm going to mask that with color selection just to the main body. Do I want to do it to that bit or to that bit? Actually, we might do it to both, to that and to that. And then we'll go to our smart masks. What are we talking about? I'm not afraid of your ghosts, Bridget. Android Lost says, have you ever touched a gun book? No, actually, yes, I have. I have touched a gun. I have held a gun. I've never shot a gun. And I've never owned a gun, and I've never modelled a gun. But I have held a gun. I've held a pistol. Not a rifle or anything, but I have held a pistol. But I've never shot a gun. Euro says, probably in the outback, they use them to fend off man-sized spiders and roos. Well, farmers have guns. For sure. Like, we do have guns in Australia. Farmers use them, but I've never actually fired a gun personally. Because I'm a city boy. I don't go out into the country. Those country people scare me. They're fine. Country people are very nice in Australia. Euro says equals regular spiders, man-sized spiders, overgrown huntsman spiders. Helpwood says all sounds like a perfectly valid reason to nuke the whole thing and hope the emus get taken out as well. Emus are cool, as Euro says. They are cool. Andrew Love says emus are terrible birds. Helpwood says also the only animal to win in an official war against humans. Euro says, and those half duck, half beaver things, the duckbill platypus. Yeah, well, they're sweet. Platypus, platypi. They're an interesting looking animal for sure with the duckbill though. Andrew Lutz says, when I was a kid, my uncle had an emu. His backyard had an unusable pool because of that mini dinosaur. Yeah, look, emus are lovely animals, but they can be temperamental as well. Like they'll go for you. Sniper Girl says, WTF, there's actually a place in downtown Chicago that is listed at $9K a night on Airbnb. Does it have a golden toilet? $9K a night, man, that's a lot of money. That's $9K US as well for you guys and girls that aren't in the US. It work out even higher in your country, I'm sure. At least it doesn't mind. Upwards, it sounds like some scam. I agree. Sniper Girl says, who the hell would be dumb enough to fall for it? If that was the case. Android Lost says 9K a night sounds like a scam anywhere. I agree. I don't even think a hotel would charge anywhere near that. The top of the range hotel. Nero says you'd be surprised. Helpwood says some idiots thinking 5G causes autism and vaccine. I know, and vaccines contain microchips. Explain. Oh, look, I don't watch conspiracy videos on YouTube, but I have heard this one about something about microchips in the vaccine, and I don't get it at all. Like, what do they think the government are going to do? What, to track them or something? I don't understand. And then even if it was true, I mean, why would they want to, number one? And your mobile phone is trackable, so, you know, they wouldn't need to, because if you've got your mobile on you, they're already tracking you that way. I don't understand this microchips in the vaccine garbage. Just, people are strange. Some people are weird. I'm telling you, there are some really strange people around. I'm sorry if you're one of those people watching that does believe that there are microchips in the vaccine. I'm sure whatever I say is not going to convince you it's not, that they're not. But they're not. And you should get vaccinated. Helpwood says, I'm sure there's someone who'd fall for it. Yeah, I've heard that. Look, again, I don't watch the conspiracy stuff on YouTube, but even I've heard people say something about microchips in the vaccine, and it's just bizarre. It's just weird. It's just weird. Sniper Girl says, maybe right, but wow. Sniper Girl says, and that listing has like 32 reviews. Wow. And the place isn't even all that. I won't look at it because I don't want to promote Airbnb on my stream, but not worth 9k in my opinion, based on the picture. Sniper Girl says, I agree. How the hell does it have 32 reviews? Okay, we're going to use a smart mask here now. So what I'm going to have to do is, I want to do a mix between the two. I'm going to have to duplicate this. Duplicate that. And we're going to move that up here. And we're going to group both of these together. And we're going to call this one pot rack frame. And we're going to mask that with a color selection again to the frame pieces. And now we can add a smart mask. And let's go with our surface worn, tried and true. I use it for everything, so it just works really well. And we're going to play with our mixing. Bring up the contrast, I think, so that the rusting stands out a little bit more. Might pull back on the rusting a little bit up here on the top. Yeah, we'll pull back a little on the ambient occlusion too, I think. I might pull up a bit on the curvature. I also want to find, yeah, I think it's in this layer here. I think I might turn off the hide information. I don't think we need it. And. And the world space normal. No, we won't pull that up. Position, we won't pull that up. Just going to pull back on the rusting a little bit. I think what I'll do too is we might throw down another smart material and we might do a bit of a mix on that as well. So I'm gonna throw this one down. This is like a tarnished metal. It always looks really interesting. I must do a save too. Must remember to do that. Just gonna do a save. I'm gonna throw that metal into the folder, into the group I should say. And we're going to throw another smart mask down. Let's try the dirt soft edges. Andrew Doss says not worth 9k based on the pictures. They're talking about this Airbnb place that Sniper Girl is looking at in Chicago that they want 9k for to rent. I agree. How the hell does it have 32 reviews? Either a scam or money laundering, probably location. Euro says, Andrew Doss says apparently that reviews mentions location. Sniper Girl says there's a listing around it that are like 130 a night. Euro says those will be in the basement. Yeah. Halfwood says I've seen some short-term rentals here that's about 8 to 9k US a month in the inner city, man, which is roughly 75k local currency. My rent is 9k. Wow. Halfwood says local for comparison. Rentals are bloody scams and bollocks nowadays. They are. I agree. Halfwood. Sniper Girl says, has anybody slept in a pool before? Sorry, in a pod. Anyone slept in a pod before? I didn't even know that was a thing in Chicago. No. I knew it was a thing in Japan. I've never slept in a pod. I don't know whether I'd like to. So I'm just going to pull. I'm not sure if I'm going to settle on this smart mask yet, but we'll see what we can do. I just want to pull in a little bit more of an interesting metal on the frame. I'm just going to just turn that mask off, and we're going to see if we can't find another mask that might be more interesting. Let's look at dust wide edges. Let's see what we can do with this one. The grunt. Might pull back a little on the grunt. And then they're throwing the levels down. That's fine. We'll remove the curvature one. Now I want to go back to my smart materials again, and I want to choose I don't know, let's see. Make sure we're in the top of the stack. I just want to, we created smart materials for the, you know, when we did the elevator lever. I just want to see what that might look like. I'm more looking at these pieces here now. Did I do a save? Must remember to do a save once this has been applied. Sorry, Rob says, shit, 2:45 AM here, night all. Good night, Rob, thanks for being here and popping in. No, I don't like that. You have a great night, Rob. Sleep well, as Hellforge says. Ira says, 2 shared bathrooms, can't even poo in privacy. Good night, Rob. Sniper Girl says, honestly, for that price, I'd be able to stay in Chicago for a lot of nights and have fun scanning things. I'm tempted to give it a try. Oh, don't spend that money. Android Lust says, do you have a list of things that you must have a scan of? Ira says, barcodes, got to scan them all. Sniper Girl says, I lose lists. There's a couple of abandoned buildings that I want to visit when there, and monuments and statues. There's also a ton of old moulded concrete, brick and stonework that you don't see where I live. Helpwood says, barcode sounds like the secret language developed by the regulars to order their favourite pints. Andrew Duss says, barcode reminds me of when I used to work in retail. So we want to, I'm just looking for something else. Let's try this one. Because you remember when we did the table, and this is sitting above the table we did, we used this one on the table as well. Let's see if we can't get an interesting sort of mix happening, maybe. But I want to group it. What do I want to do actually? Do I want to... Maybe we'll move it into this way. I actually quite like, even if we don't use it as a texture, I like a material colour. I quite like the way it's giving us this border, just adding a bit of extra detail into the model without actually using the colour information. And I quite like that. I think that adds a bit more interest. But I think we'll do that, but we won't use it as in a colour map, but we'll use it just to add a bit of fake detail going on in the model. What I want to look at doing though is probably these pieces here. So let's do a save and I'll have a copy. Need more copy and save. Thank you, Hellboard. Yes. And save again. Let's do another save. The saves really quick. So what I want to do, what do I want to do? Let me just pull back here and have a look. How are we going? Okay. I did notice that you guys posted some images in the gallery. You've done some, Sniper Girl, and Android Lust has also done a really creepy looking image. A really nice one. I'll show those. Juzan is actually showing a head as well. I'll show those off soon. So just before we close off for today. Let's see. What direction do I want to go with this? I'm not sure. Sniper Girl says, should I do a silence for the last 5 minutes of the stream? Well, I will let you know all that silence, so don't waste your points, because I want to show off the stuff that you guys have done. And that's more important than silencing Phil. Hellford says, I think my brain is really tired. I spent 9 hours today banging my head against some environment stuff. Hellford says no. Hellford says, wait for the intro tomorrow. That would be cruel, as Android Dust says, and Sniper Echo's agreeing. No, he's just laughing. Yes, again, the Phil does Just Chat streams. They are the very last stream of each month. So just again, reminding you guys, when the Phil does chat streams happen, they happen on the very last stream of each month. So generally a Tuesday, it'll be a Tuesday unless the last stream of the month is a Monday. But it's always like in the last week of the month. And the last stream of that week. I know it's confusing. Just think the last stream of each month. That'll make it easier. I'm just trying to work out whether I want these pieces here darker to match the wrought iron here, or do I want to make them stand out more? So do I want them to stand out more or stand out less by making them a dark iron? Or stand out more by making them maybe like a brighter gold or something? And I'm in two minds. I can't decide. Snappy Girl says, won't be here for the intro due to work tomorrow. No problem. I know work comes first. That's cool. Hellboy says, Phil, where in the kitchen will this hang? This is going to hang, you know the bench that we made last week? That bench that sits in the middle of the kitchen floor. So the cabinets are around the outside. That rectangular bench sits in the middle of the kitchen floor. And then this will hang directly above that rectangular bench in the middle of the room. And then we'll have pots hanging from these hooks here above that bench. So it goes in the middle of the room above the central bench. Helpwood says some places will get darkened by soot and stuff. Yeah, it won't be near the oven. It'll be in the middle of the room. But yeah, it's in a kitchen, so it will get blackened up. So you're thinking we should go for a darker here to better match the wrought iron, maybe? Let's just have a look at this one. No, I don't like that. Yeah, I can't use these. These are the ones that freak out the program. Let's have a look at this one. No, I don't like that one. Let's have a look at this. Is one that I created for the fireplace. So it has like a dark soot as part of the material. Not that this would get too sooty, because yeah, it's not actually hanging near the oven. It is in the middle of the room, but it is in a kitchen, which does tend to get stuff does tend to get covered in oil and stuff in a kitchen. Let's just do a mask with color selection so I'm not getting distracted by everything else going on. Oh, I see. I made that part of that. Okay. Alright, fair enough. I thought it was actually separate, but it's not. But what I can do is... I just think that these pieces look a bit better if they're a bit duller as opposed to being shinier, but I could be wrong. I don't know. No, actually, I think probably, no, let's remove that. I think we'll stick with making them shinier. That's fine. We could rivet. Sorry, I'm just trying to work out which layer is which. So we could, I know I'm running out of time too. We might look at the work you guys posted in the gallery tomorrow, I think, before I sign off tomorrow's stream. Just to remind me if I forget. It was in this one here. So I think what I might do is I'm going to add a paint layer. But I would like just to get this finished before I finish the stream today. And I'm just going to paint out the gold along the edge here. So we bring it back to more of a dull metal to better match the wrought iron decorative work. Not all of it, I'll leave some gold here and there. Okay. And I might also paint out the bar along the top here a little bit. So let's just increase our brush size. That should be alright. Okay, let's do a save and we can probably say that our pot rack is done. So tomorrow we'll do the kitchen curtain. Save and copy, yes. So let's do the save. I'll do the copy. So I think what we'll do is we will call the pot rack done and leave it there for today, guys and girls. Tomorrow we'll work on probably the kitchen curtain because there's only three things I think left to texture up in the kitchen. So the kitchen curtain, the kitchen floor and the kitchen walls. Tomorrow we'll probably work on the curtain like I said. We'll get that done. And then that means we've only got a couple left to do before we can jump into the engine and start putting it all together. I do want to thank you guys and girls though for hanging out with me today and for being here. We will look at the images you guys posted in the gallery tomorrow at the end of tomorrow's stream. You're quite welcome. Thank you guys for hanging out, like I said, and watching. I do appreciate it. I will be back, of course, tomorrow, same time, 5 p.m. Pacific in the United States. You guys and girls take care, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. See you guys.